is the your computer store at your front door, Mr. Duane. So you are up today, and you got the floor. Tell us.
All right. So what I'm going to talk to you guys about today is something that I see more and more and more. And lo and behold, in my email this morning, I got another scam email. So it used to be years past, I might see maybe one a month. Beginning of COVID, I started seeing one a week from customers. And in my own email text, I'm seeing more than one a day of scams. So I'm sure that you guys are all aware of a lot of these things, but I just want to go through and explain some of these for two reasons. Number one, because I want to make sure you guys are all aware of these things. But secondly, what I want to know is, so I've got a lot of content about this. It's something that I'm really passionate about because I've seen the damage that it does to senior citizens, to people that are just vulnerable. So what I want to know is, after you hear all this today, and just know that this is like a fraction of the content that I have. I've got videos that I've posted. I've got 17 chapters of a book or an ebook. And what I want to know from you guys is, what do you think I should do with this content? How can I best get this content out there to get it to people that need to see this information? So if you'll just kind of think about that as I'm going through this today. So first off, I'm going to share my screen here. Let's see, which one do I need? Oh, first off, let me just bring this up and then I'll do it. Okay. All right. So where is it now? Oh, it's the one that was hidden. Okay. All right. So what you're seeing is the email that I got today. All right. Great. Now on my phone up here, all I could see was FedEx package 2916 whatever. Okay.
Yep.
So it wasn't until I opened it on my computer that I could see that it's coming from this address, 2202916 at springcityaviation.com. Okay. First off, FedEx, they got their own domain. They don't need to use somebody else's to send you a message. All right. And then let's look at this. FedEx. Now, I Googled this morning, FedEx logo, okay? Here's all the FedEx logos. So there's that. And there's that one. So as you can see, if they do the FedEx, it looks more like this one right here, okay? With the two color. But they have that, the little dot, but it's not a dot.
Hey, Duane.
It's actually,
we can only see half your screen. We can't see the other side that you're pointing at with the pretty color. We can just see the email.
oh, it's doing just the, okay.
Sorry, I just wanted to let you know.
Mhm.
Do I need to call an IT guy for you?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, yeah.
I think if you go to share screen and hit the Alt key, it'll flip through.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so on the FedEx right there.
There you
All
go.
right. And the little dot next to it, it's not a dot, it's the R.
Yeah. Registered.
Okay. So that's the thing with that. Okay, now let me go back to the other one here.
Duane, while you're talking about that, I've noticed that on a lot of other emails where they're trying to use a logo and it doesn't look exactly like the logo. Yeah.
And really, so all I did is I just Googled FedEx logo, and then I looked at images. So there you go. All right. So the next thing is, so they sent it to not me as a person, but to my email address. All right. One thing I always do when I see these, I will actually go, a courier agent was at your address to deliver a parcel to you, but could not find you. Thus, we are unable to deliver the package to you. Kindly update your current address below for us to be able to reach you for the end of today. All right. So does that sound like something that FedEx would say? No, it doesn't. And then here's the next thing. So here's the place where they want me to update my address. So it says address.fedex/com. Okay, that I'm sure you guys all know that's not how domains work.
Right.
With the /com, it'd be a .com, but that's not even where it's going. Where it's going to is statistic.greasecab.go.id, blah, 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 something like that. So basically all they're doing is they're either fishing for information, number one, or worse yet, they're gonna, the last time I saw this FedEx one, it was ransomware.
Wow.
And as soon as you click on that link, guess what? All the files on your computer get locked with ransomware. So
Holy smokes.
yeah, that's it's definitely something you don't want to do. All right, so let me close out of those two things, and I'm going to open up something else here. This, okay, so this is how domains work. Okay, so this first one, forms.google.com. The important part is this right here, google.com. That's who owns that site. Okay, now google.forms.com. That is not google.com. That would be whoever forms.com is. Okay. Third one. Okay. So support.google.com/a/users answers, blah, blah, blah. Is that a real one or is that a fake one?
Fake.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a real one. All that matters is this part right here, the actual name.com. Okay. Everything before that, everything after that with a slash, none of that matters as to who it belongs to. Okay. They could have other stuff in front of this. They could have other stuff in back of this. And you've seen some that, I mean, the link is pages long, but as long as it's got the google.com, that specific part, then you know that that is owned by Google or whatever company that you're looking at. Okay.
Got it.
All right. And I know I'm bouncing back and forth, but just seems like it's easier to do it this way.
No,
I don't do this a lot, so that's this is something new. All right. Here's another email I got in one day. I got 3 emails just like this that said notification from Docusign. Okay. So again, all I'm seeing on my phone is Docusign electronic signature. But then I look at this and it's coming from, it's not coming from there. It's coming from somebody else. Okay. This looks pretty real, but when I go to here, it doesn't take me to Docusign. It takes me to a Google Doc. So I'm not going to follow that. I don't know what it's going to do. All right.
Come on, Duane, open it up. Let's show us.
Let's check it out. Yeah. Okay. So, dear recipient, please review this invoice. It is an electronically created notification. This message keeps a secure information. Okay. Do not share this link with others. Alternative signing way. Please visit Docusign, click access documents, enter the security code. So I did, I went to docusign.com and they do have an access documents. Okay. And I put in this code and you know what it told me? Yeah, this code doesn't exist. So there you go. And this, well, that does go to Docusign. So, but you know what? I was not expecting a Docusign. So I'm not going to do that, especially when I have 3 of them coming boom, boom, boom in a row, and they were all from different people.
Yeah,
So-
the classic behind this, the classic telltale is always the English or the grammar,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. And I've noticed that if you read it out loud and slowly, you'll really catch that. You know, you might gloss over it if you just read it to yourself quickly, but yeah, I read them out loud and then I laugh.
Hey,
So-
Duane, good. Can you scroll down a little bit so I can see more already? Sign documents in just a few clicks. It is safe. I think it's Russian. If you are at work, home, or and the goal, the Docusign profile. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, you know,
I want
that's
John to read all my emails.
I tell you what, it's hard to see when, especially when most of us are looking at them on our phone. To actually look at the address on your phone, you've got to click on the address and get more details. And then it'll give you that email address, and you'll see that it's not coming from Amazon, it's coming from somebody's Gmail account. And you go, do you think Amazon has their own domain with email? Do you think they need to use their employees' Gmail accounts? So there's always signs, and I get people every day that, you know, they'll forward an email to me, and I'm like, okay, here's why. This, and this. They've started getting smart with the links. So what they're doing now is they're not putting links in the emails. What they're doing is they're saying something along the lines of, you purchased 3 iPhones for a total of $3,000, and this is your receipt. You were charged the payment that's on file. If you have a problem with this email, click or call this number. You know, this is just your receipt. Any questions, call this number. And it's usually call this number, call this number, call this number. So what happens if you call the number? You'll get some. What's that, John?
Well, the old-fashioned trick used to be to charge you an abnormally crazy amount of money for that phone call, but I think they limit that now.
Yeah, no, what they're doing now is this. You call the number and they say, well, that's odd because I'm seeing it in my system. Let me log into your computer and take a look at your Amazon account. Let's find out what's going on.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
And that, yeah, then there's a similar email to that, and that is Microsoft. Well, it's not even Microsoft. It'll be something similar to Microsoft is the name of the company. And they're billing you for your renewal of Defender antivirus or something like that. So it kind of sounds like Windows Defender, but not really. And it's a lot of money. It's going to be another, you know, $3.99 or something like that. When you call them, what they say is, well, okay, we can happily take that off of your bill, but we need to log into your computer and uninstall it.
Yeah, I had a phone call like that the other day. They said it was a, what did they say? They said they were calling from Amazon and that they suspected fraudulent activity on my account in the tune of $1,800, and I needed to do one of the, you know, screen sharing thing, log into a screen sharing thing so that they could check my IP address and make sure everything was correct. And I was like, yeah, that's a scam. And they go, well, thank you for spending 2.5 minutes on the phone with us. Now we have all your info anyways. But I was just on the phone and I was like,
Yeah,
that's BS. But
no.
Yeah, but it is, that's what they're trying to do. You know, they
Yeah.
want to get your IP and they want.
Yeah. So once they get on your computer, oh my gosh, you've got viruses, you've got all these problems, but it's okay, we're gonna fix it. You know, and so what they'll do is they'll pop open a command prompt and they'll run a command that'll make all kinds of numbers go flying up your screen. And see, these are all people trying to access your computer. Your IP is on the dark web, and you know, you're in a lot of trouble. We need to fix this. That's one thing. So then they'll get on, you know, once they're on your computer, they'll put fake tools on there and they'll charge you hundreds of dollars for that. The other one is they will actually get into your Amazon account and get your, you know, a lot of us, we've had Amazon accounts for years, and we might have 6 or 7 credit cards, bank accounts that are on there now. And now they've got access to all of that stuff. Any other thing they can do on your computer while they're there, they'll do that too. They can actually blank the screen so you see black, and they're in the background just mining for information. You know, if you've got your bank account on there, they might be trying to get into that. So that's their goal, is to get on your computer. So, yeah. As far as phone calls, what you were talking about, Joe. First of all, you will never get a phone call from companies like that, right? They don't do that. They will contact you some other way. The government, the IRS is never going to call you and say, your return was wrong and you owe us $5,000, and you need to go buy some green dot Visa cards in the amount of that and give us those numbers. Okay, so first off, they will never call you. Number one, you will hear about it in a letter on their official everything long before. The only way they would ever call you is if you had a scheduled meeting time with them to call you. Okay. The government will never ask for Bitcoin or iTunes cards, Amazon cards. It's bizarre. It's just bizarre. And, you know, no company will ever ask for that either. So, you know, if you have an outstanding warrant with the police department or the sheriff's department, they're not going to call you on the phone and tell you, you know, you need to pay us this money or we're going to come get you. No. So, you know,
well, Duane, I paid the money last month and it didn't come, so I was happy.
I guess it worked then. Okay. So I stand corrected.
Well,
But yeah, they're probably going to call back next month and do it again. Darn it, I'm in trouble again.
Are you saying I don't have a cousin that's a prince in Nigeria?
So I don't want to get you off track, but that's a good one. I still get those.
Yeah. They've upped the ante on that one though. They've changed it around to where now it's you know, I'm trying to help this and I need this to this, and we're just going to use your bank account to go through. You know, so there's a lot of variance to that. Yeah.
You know what the scary one is?
What's that?
The scary adaptation to that now is the family member who's trapped. They do a quick little Google, go on your Facebook, they see if, you know, so-and-so is traveling, and they impersonate that person. Or, hey, they're in jail and they need to be bailed out. You told me I got your number. And
yeah,
that one freaks me out because
yeah. That's the one that you really need to make sure that your parents and your grandparents all know about. You know, and hopefully your families have close enough relationships that if someone's traveling, the grandparents know about it. You know, that's the best thing there. A few years ago, my dad got that one, which all of his grandkids call him Papa. And the first tip off was, "Hey, Granddad, do you know who this is?" And my dad goes, "I sure do." And so this kid told him that he was down in Florida and he and his friend were heading back to the airport, and an Uber driver that they had got pulled over for speeding, and then he got arrested for drugs. And so we got hauled into jail too, and we just need $50 to get out of jail. And my dad goes, "You know, I don't have money like that." The kid cussed him out and hung up on him. So
That's funny.
So that's a good way to deal with those. But, you know,
So
yeah,
Duane,
tell people they've got, what's
yeah,
that?
So what should we be doing when we get like one of these? We're all getting these emails now. I guess the first line of defense is to have some virus protection type software before you even get into the hovering over the email addresses and see who they are.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean that's not going to keep you from getting them. You're still going to get them. You know, the number one thing, and I'm starting to get a bunch of text messages too. I got one from Facebook the other day, not Facebook, Facebook. So, and those are just, you know, curiosities. Oh, here, click the link. Yeah, don't click the link. But so in email, this is the thing that I tell people. So first of all, verify the from address is on the domain. Read the email out loud. Does it sound like others that you've heard from this company or other companies? Is it broken English? Are there typos? Don't follow any links. Hover over those. If you want to check it out, contact the company through a regular channel. You know, if it claims to be Comcast, get your Comcast bill and call them from that number, not the number that's in the email. You know, if it's Amazon, log into your Amazon account and check it out. Whatever shows there is going to be what it is. If it's about a banking transaction, call your bank on a number that's published, not on the number that's in the email. And if it claims to be a receipt for something that you purchased, you know, don't follow any links, don't call the number, log into your account like you normally would, call your bank the correct way, you know, all these things. Just don't trust any of the information that you get from these people. Then phone calls. So call them back on their advertised number, not the number they gave you or anything like that. You know, say, okay, I'll call you back in a few minutes. I've got your number. I'll call you, and get their name, and then call that company and say, I just got this call. This is what they said. And they'll tell you right there, yeah, no, that's not true. There was a scam going around a while back. One of my customers got a call from Comcast, and on their caller ID, it said Comcast. And what they said is, you know, we're all working from home and there's a problem with your router and we need to log in and fix it because we can't come to your house. So no internet company will ever do that. In fact, if they're at your house and you say, hey, can you help me get my email set up? Or, you know, can you help me do something on my computer? They'll say, we're not allowed to touch your computer. You know, they won't even get on your computer to help you set up that computer for Wi-Fi. They might stand behind you and tell you how to do it, but they will not touch your machine. So again, if you get an unsolicited call, just get the information from them, then call them back on a number that you know for a fact belongs to that company.
I actually got that call and I thought that was hilarious. I was like, yeah, my internet seems to be working just fine. Thank you. You know, if I do have any problems, I'll give you a call back. And they were like,
Yeah.
really? Like, we could just fix it for you now. I was like, yeah, really. It feels fine. Like, I'm watching Netflix right now. I had to pause it to pick up your call, but it's working just fine. So can I please watch The Circle? Thanks.
Yep. You know, and when you get those calls from companies or the government or whatever, remember they called you. So they should have your name, they should have your phone number, they should have your account number, any of that pertinent information. So don't give them a thing, no information whatsoever. And the government, they won't call you, they'll send you a letter. You know, that's how they operate. Technology companies, so Microsoft, Dell, HP, Apple, all of those types of companies, they will not call you. They're not monitoring computers. Okay. So if you have if you've purchased a maintenance agreement, let's say you bought a brand new Dell and you purchased the extended 3-year warranty and all that on that, they still won't call you. Okay. The only time they would ever call you is if you initiated something and you put in a service request with them or something like that. They may call you back, but they will never initiate the call. So if something like that happens, you know those are fake right off the bat. Other areas, so social media. this has been a big one lately too. I get, you know, I'm sure a lot of you guys do. I get all these friend requests from really sexy looking 20-something girls, you know, and I'm like, okay, I don't think I know this person. And I'll click on their profile and they have 6 friends and they're all old men. You know, and I'm going, okay. And then you go to their posts and they have 2 posts because they took one picture, then they took another picture, and that's it. So, you know, that's, you're just asking for trouble if you take those. Friend requests from somebody that you're already a friend with. That's a big one. You know what goes on with that, right? So they duplicate somebody's profile. They send out friend requests to all of their friends, and then they'll start engaging with people. And eventually they're going to start asking for money or something. You know, that's their end game. So if you get a friend request from somebody and you know that you're already friends with them on Facebook, go to their other account and contact them from that. If you're fairly good friends with them, you might even call them or email them and say, hey, I just got another friend request from you. I've had a couple people that they said, yeah, I lost all the information that I can't get into that account. I've just abandoned it and I've moved on to a new account. But generally that's not the case. You know, generally it's that someone has created a fake profile just like theirs to try and scam everybody they can, all of this person's friends. Also, when you do that, once you find out that it is a fake one, you can report it right there on the where they're asking to be your friend too. So that way, that if enough people report it, that account will get shut down. I know that there's times when I'll log into my computer and I'll see that I have some friend requests, and I'll click on one of them and it'll disappear. It's like, okay, well, they've already found out that's a scam and it's gone. So there you go. Something else that can get you into trouble. So internet searches. When you do an internet search, never pick the very top one, okay? Usually the top 2 or 3 are ads, and they'll actually say right at the beginning, in parentheses, it'll say ad, okay? The next thing you wanna look at is this, for instance, let's say you're having trouble with your HP printer and you decide, well, I'll just go online and Google it and get some help that way. There's a lot of companies these fake Indian companies that put all of this information up there hoping that people will click on it. This is just another way for them to try to get onto your computer. Again, now you've got all kinds of problems and we need to fix them and it's going to cost you $800. So when you're looking at a search, make sure that it's the actual company. Again, the domain, make sure it says company.domain, not hp.wefixprinters.com. No, that's not them, you know. So make sure it's the right one. And I'll tell you right now, you cannot click on a link and get a phone number and call HP. You know, maybe if you have business support from them that you're paying for, you might be able to do that, but you're not, as just an average person, you're not going to be able to do that. So if you are able to do that, it's not really them. When you're on the internet, I use a safe search option. So I use WebRoot as my antivirus, and it comes with an extension that actually tells you this is a good site. It's got a green check mark. This is a marginal site. It's got like an orange minus. And this is a bad site. Don't go here. It's got a red X next to it. So if you're not using something like that, you might want to. And in fact, with WebRoot, I've actually had a couple times where I've clicked on one of those and the screen comes crashing down and basically says, you don't want to go here. And then it gives you a choice. If you want to, you can go ahead and go there, but here's a way to go back to where you were. So that's
So Duane, I have WebRoot. Do I have to change a setting to make sure?
If you open up, say Google Chrome, you should, if it's not active, you just go into your extensions. So the 3 dots, go down to more tools, extensions, and you might have to activate it.
Got it. Okay.
All right. Text messages, don't get too curious. Think, why would this company be sending me a text message? You know, I got in 2 days, I got 2 text messages that I won a contest at Amazon, and I just needed to click on the link to get my free prize. Great. You know, same rules as email apply here. Just
So Duane,
be careful. And
Duane, I was told that with at least with Apple phones, that they're almost impregnable as far as virus, and the virus protection is all great and all this stuff. But it sounds like these bogus text messages can somehow get into your phone. And
yeah. Well, so here's the thing about Apple. I was with a customer last year because he wanted to get the best antivirus that he could get for his Mac. Okay. So we called Apple Care, and the guy at Apple Care told us over the phone, Macs don't get viruses. And I'm going, okay, I've removed 30 or 40 viruses from Macs, so I beg to differ. So yeah, I would take that with a grain of salt, because they can get in there. Yep. Again, read it out loud on text. Don't follow any links. Contact the company through their advertised information, you know, whatever. And then what I always do is delete that text so you don't accidentally get into it, and, you know, or in your pocket, it accidentally hits that link, because that can mess you up too. Other things you can do if you do end up having problems, you can freeze your credit. You can go to one of the credit bureaus. If you don't have an account there, you can create an account there, and you can freeze your credit. And if you go to one, it'll freeze all 3. If you don't really need to freeze it, you can put a fraud alert on there, which means that anytime somebody is looking at your credit, say you go to buy a car, they're going to have to go through a few more steps, which is great. You can go on and freeze your credit cards too. So if you do end up getting scammed, you can do things like that. On accounts, most accounts now you can upgrade to 2-factor authentication. And with 2-factor authentication, okay, now, unless they've stolen all of your tech, you're pretty safe, you know, because you try to log in on a computer and it says, okay, we just sent a message to your phone. Okay, great. Boom. Now I can log in. So that's about all I've got. I mean, I have so many examples of all this stuff. It's just endless. It goes on and on and on every day. But any questions?
What is the world doing to stop this? What is the technology out there so this doesn't get, I mean, keeps multiplying, it seems.
Well, so the problem is the #1 email that I see lately is the receipt email. Okay, so receipt from Amazon or whoever for a whole lot of money, right? And there's no links. The only information is a phone number. So #1, it's not illegal to send somebody an email. Okay. It's not illegal to give somebody a fake receipt. It might be a little unethical and stuff like that, but you know, they haven't stolen anything from you at that point. If you call the number and you invite them onto your computer, that's not illegal either, right? So, and then what are they doing? They're supposedly fixing the problems that you have on your computer. So again, highly unethical. They're selling you a product. It's a bogus fake product, but they're selling it to you. So that's all kind of a really gray area. If you call the police, I have a friend on the Aurora Police Department. he gets these calls all the time. And he goes out there and he takes a statement, and when he's done, he gives them the claim, the report number or whatever, so that they can use that for insurance purposes if they actually had a loss. That's all they do.
Yeah,
This guy, what he also does is he calls me, and then I'll go to their house and I'll get on their computer and I'll make sure that, whoever got on their computer didn't leave a back door, because that happens too.
Great lead generation, Duane.
What's that?
Great lead generation.
Yeah.
with the police department.
That was actually on a webinar yesterday through another group, and he was an FBI agent out of Detroit. And I Googled this guy's name, and he's brought down some of the biggest scam artists in the country. And the webinar was specifically on elder care or elder abuse. So they're just coming out with their numbers for 2020. Just what was reported. So the FBI has a website. It's like the Internet ICE or ICC, where you can report all internet scams. And for people that reported that they were over 60, so you don't have to, it's just, it's one of those voluntary numbers.
Yeah.
It was about $1 billion of reported losses.
Yep.
Just for people that reported that they were over 60 and reported the dollar amount.
Yeah.
In total, it's over $4 billion in 2020 of
Yay.
reported losses. So what he said to do is just a shotgun approach. So contact your local police, file a report there, go on the FBI's website. Postal Service has a group that does this. Secret Service has a group. And then if it's international based, you think, go on the European Interpol.
Yeah.
There's a website to report there. And he said because most of these are coming from overseas, the vast majority, which is obviously an additional difficulty right there. But there's a whole group that coordinates between the FBI, Interpol, various international agencies that are trying to help. But he goes, obviously they're only barely getting a drop in the bucket.
Yeah. Well, and that's the people that actually report it.
Right.
Because, there's so many people, they're so embarrassed that once they realize it, it's like, oh crap, I can't believe and they don't want to tell anybody about it. So,
right.
I'll just eat the $500 or $600 and hopefully I'll learn next time and not do it. Yeah. So, it's definitely not going away. It gets worse over time. So yeah.
Duane, I have two questions on this whole email part of it. So if I know the email is not for me and it's in my inbox, if I hit the spam button, and I use Gmail, I use Outlook, I use Comcast, Xfinity email. So if I hit the spam button, what does that do to that email and to that sender?
So it'll probably stop you from getting more emails from that person. Some of them are more sophisticated and it might actually stop the type of email that you're getting, but most of them aren't that sophisticated. Usually that's some of the ones that you'd purchase extra, like with your Office 365 or something like that. But the problem with that too, John, is the fact that if you looked at over time, let's say you got 3 or 4 of these over the last year, it's always going to be a different email address. Because what they do is they snag someone's email account somehow, and then they send out a blanket bunch of these from that email, right? So, and then when that email gets shut down, okay, we'll just move on to the next email, steal somebody else's. So
it's just going to come from another email address.
Yeah.
And once in a while, go ahead.
They can go out and they can. I had to create a Gmail account for one of my customers because they got iPads for their company, and so we just set up one Apple ID account under a separate Gmail account. It took me 5 minutes to create a Gmail account, right? So, and if I type in something and that's not available, it gave me 6 choices of other things that were available. So if I'm going to spend 5 minutes and create an email, and then I'm going to send it out to this huge list I have. I'll spend 5 minutes to do that, to
Right.
make, you know, however much money they're going to make off of it. So
Yeah. One thing that's really helped me, I have AT&T Mobile, and there's a program out there, it's an app called AT&T Call Protect, which is free. I mean, you can pay for upgrades, but the basic service is free. And that actually has done a great job screening the spam calls coming through to my phone and blocking them.
Yeah.
And it actually gives me a log. So if you're getting that on your mobile provider, you check with your mobile providers, because those apps are typically free.
Yep.
To use.
yeah, makes a difference.
I'll share a quick email from last week. I got an email from someone saying, hey, it came to my attention that your website is using my copyrighted photos. Take them down immediately, or else I will proceed with action. I was like, oh shit. When I set up the site, maybe I did Google some images or whatever. Then I remembered, no, I actually used whatever, Pixabay. So I call my cyber guy. I'm like, Dave, what do you think of this? And he's like, I mean, could be legit. I don't know. He's like, forward it to me. I'm going to do a little looking. So in the name on there was like Kelly or something, or Jenny. So I don't know if it was Jennifer or Jen. So I actually Googled, and there is a photography website. I was like, oh God. So I start freaking out, but then I started looking, and I found another person with a website, a photography one, and she had the banner, my thing was hacked this morning. Someone saying they're me, it's not me, and all that stuff. And I was like, oh God.
Yeah.
Didn't ask for anything except to take down stuff, but it
Yeah.
was a little unsettling for a few minutes. I was like, oh God,
Yeah.
I'm going to jail.
So that brings up a point. You know, the catfish scams, right? I've seen a couple Dr. Phil's show where he's trying to tell these people this is a catfish, you are being catfished, and he'll Google the letter that the love letter that the catfisher wrote to him. And when he Googles the whole text of the letter, he'll come up with tons and tons of that same letter on the internet. Okay. So I've actually done that with emails too, similar to that one that you were talking about, Adam, where, you know, if you're not sure about something, Google it. Just copy the whole thing, throw it into Google, and yeah, you'll see it.
Adam, to piggyback on yours, I had the same email that we illicitly used photographs, copyrighted or protected, and it came from we did the research too. And it came, I was like, same thing with you. Oh my God, where did I get these? We do so many different things on the internet. You know, did I do this? And it turned out it was deep research finally showed it to be a little company in Canada who was misrepresenting themselves, and not explicitly saying who they were, where they were, but they actually came back to a place in Canada because they were collecting, you know, $438 for use of this picture and $389 for the use of that photo and it was like just bogus. And you know, they actually followed up with a letter to the address of the website, which is my home. You know, it's the registered address. So they were actually pretty persistent, but they're an international company, therefore they have no jurisdiction in the United States anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was like, but it was pretty convincing, and good grammar.
I get those as form messages on my website, because I have you can go on my website and you can send me a message. I get them on that. I get them quite regularly on that. So it's like, okay, yep, I know it's not real.
Yep. Well, we got to wrap up. We're over time, everyone. Thanks everyone for another good, fun-packed Thursday. So stay safe. And
Great, guys.
we'll
Duane,
Bye.
great presentation.
talk, Duane.
Good
Thanks.
job. Thank
Appreciate it.
you.
All right, everybody, have a great week. Thanks, Duane.
Hey guys.